Hey guys, what is up? It's Coach Zeke from the Infinite Movement Academy. I wanted to use this video to talk to you guys about flow and what flow is, how you can practice it, and give you guys my top 5 tips for practicing flow and getting it down. Let's get started. For those of you who don't know what flow is, I'm going to talk about it for a little bit. Flow is a term in parkour and free running that we use to communicate efficient movement, whether it's using the space, not giant chunks of just awkward running in your line stuff. Essentially, flow, for people starting out, it's usually low impact, very quick, very efficient movements. It's safe for kids, for someone just starting out. I like to train low impact, quick, low to the ground style movement. So summing up that last section, it's safe for kids, it's very low impact usually, and it's really good training for endurance and technique. Alright, so my first tip for flow is to think about flow as more of tech training than speed. It's true that flow usually does have a lot to do with speed and how fast you're moving, but if you focus on just being quick and fast, it can mess up your technique and still look really bad. So think about it more as precise, clean, smooth tech. Alright, so my second tip for flow, try and stay relatively low to obstacles and the ground. If you watch people like Archie Arroyan or Foskey, their movements are really low to the obstacles a lot of the times, and that's because they're trying to eliminate air time. We talk about this all the time in comp class if you're a comp member. The longer you're in air, the slower your movements are. They're trying to stay really low to the obstacles so that way they can utilize it in a more efficient way to get them closer to the ground, keep them moving quick and safely while focusing on technique and not just quickness, going back to the first tip. It'll make your movements look a lot cleaner, a lot more seamless, and it'll all just look a lot nicer. So my third tip is going to be telling you guys what vaults are really good for flow. So obviously, depending on your line or what vaults you're good at, all vaults, any vault can be good for flow. However, there are 3 main ones that are considered to be the best vaults for flow. Looking at all the stuff from many of the pros that practice flow, the 3 main vaults that I've noticed are the thief vault, the lazy vault, and the palm spin or wall spin. The main reason is you have, for all of them, you have 2 points of contact, both hands, right? So for a wall spin, you usually have one hand up top, one hand below. For palm spin, same thing. And then for thief and lazy, you have one hand and then you push your other hand down. The contact points of having one hand and then using the other to push you makes it really fast. I'd say the same thing about a con vault. When you're doing a con vault, you're usually dipping with your chest, and it's hard to get your chest back up in time for you to keep moving throughout it. But con vaults are another really common one for practicing flow. Thief, lazy, and speed vaults, or thief, lazy, and palm spins, are really, really good for flow. Alright, so my 4th tip is going to be going over the 2-step rule. We talk about this rule all the time in comp class. We try and follow the 2-step rule. So in between vaults or transitions or anything like that, you should have 2 steps maximum before you go into the next move. The reason is, if you have more than 2 steps, you tend to stutter step or slow down, or it's just really long space of time where you're not doing anything and you could be using a move there. But we try and keep our steps to a maximum of 2 to maximize our efficiency and flow. So my 5th and final tip for practicing flow is to implement transition moves. What I mean is, if you have a long space in your line where you're just running to the next vault or flip or whatever, try and fill that space with a transition moves. Filling empty space is the key to good flow. So looks a lot less awkward. So when you're practicing flow, fill the empty space in order to make your lines look a lot more efficient. Alright, so before we end this video, I want to tell you guys my top athletes that train flow. Study their movements, look at everything they're doing, practice their movements, pause the video if you have to, stuff like that. Just practicing over time will get your lines so much better. So my top athletes are Foskey, Archie Aroyan, Sasha Sheva, and Keelan Ryan. These 4 athletes are super talented with flow. If you are not following these 4 athletes, I would highly recommend it. Those are my top 4 references when making this video. I highly recommend you guys watch their stuff, watch their YouTube videos, study, take it seriously, right? I hope you guys have enjoyed and taken my words to heart. Flow is very fun. It's very low impact, like I said at the start, so even if you're injured, it's easy to practice flow. You can practice flow in your house, you can practice it outside, wherever. I highly recommend everyone try it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to the channel if you're not already. More content is coming soon, and yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next one.